Hey, welcome to FiddleHed Fiddle Lessons. I'm gonna show you how to play a fiddle version of Santa Claus Is Comin to Town. I'm gonna add a bunch of fiddle type variations like slides, double stops, triplets, pedal patterns, Georgia shuffle, who knows what else. Okay, here goes. Alright, now that you've heard it, let's learn how to play it. As usual, I'm going to suggest we warm up with a scale for the tune. In this case, it's D major. You can do it with a D drone track. Do it with hoedown, that'll apply to this song. Maybe with a little offbeat accent. Alright, another thing you can do, if you know Georgia shuffle, practice that a little bit, it'll come in handy. If you don't know Georgia shuffle, it's kind of hard. I wouldn't try to, you could just go ahead and learn this tune, but you don't have to actually do that in the tune. You can just play it as it is. And I should also mention that on the FiddleHed page, you'll find a more basic version of the melody to play along with. So if you're an absolute beginner, you may want to kind of follow along with this lesson, but then look at that. That'll be maybe a little bit more your speed to do the very basic lesson. Okay, so I think that's about it. I think we're ready to get started. So you may have noticed I did a little bit of a kickoff to the tune, which was... So I'm just going to go over that a little bit. So if I play it with single notes instead of double stops, it's just G1. And actually we'll start G low 1, slide up to G1. And then another G1. So we're just on G1 and G low 1. And that's actually a Georgia shuffle pattern. If you don't do that, it's okay. But to get the full effect, do it slow. Alright. And then you can just add open D. You can even use it as an accent, just doing the open D only on the down bow, yeah. That's not how I arranged it with all open D. I think that works pretty well. Okay, so that's the kickoff, and then we'll use that at the end of the A part and at the end of the B part. So maybe get comfortable with that, and then once you got it, we'll move on and we'll do the first quarter of the A part. Here it is. First quarter of the A part with flow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll break it down even more, simplify it a little bit too. So we're going to start open D as the pickup, just an 8th note pickup to D 2 3, ending on open A. So this is jumping right into the Georgia shuffle. If you care to do that, it's 3 slurred up bows. If you're struggling with the melody, in general I suggest not doing bowings at the beginning. I'm just showing it to you for later, and a lot of people requested more bowing instruction, so I'm trying to do that. But if you're just learning the melody and just trying to figure it out, come back to adding the slur patterns and such. And that's the whole first bar. And on the fourth beat, we can add a quick double stop. And the second and fourth beat. And that's adding a quick, kind of just touching the D string, the open D. So that's just playing single repetitions. It's a good idea to kind of balance that with loop playing. Maybe before you loop, you really kind of get it, and then you can try looping it. Right? So looping's very powerful, but you may want to balance it. You may not be ready to loop it. Maybe you need to slowly play it once, and then once again, kind of really paying attention to the mechanics. Also giving your brain a little bit of a break. All right. So now let's do the second bar. It's a 1, 2, 3, 3, 3 open. So not too bad. And then we're at double stops on beat 4, 2 and 4 again, the open D. Here's again. Whole first quarter. Okay, so cool. Let's move on to the second quarter of the A part with flow. And even more slowly broken down. So the third bar of the tune is the same as the first. And then the fourth bar is a 1 open, D3, D3, 3 open. And we could add a double stop on beats 2 and 4, just the open G. And without getting too much into theory, there's a G chord would go here, and so it makes sense that we add the open G. You could loop that too. Looping is such an amazing practice because it gets you to hear different parts of the tune and to hear the beauty of each little part. Even a few notes you could loop and get a sense of beauty from it. But on a practical level, it will make it so that you'll learn this tune way more deeply. If you loop on different lengths, you'll just have much more command of the tune. Plus, you're kind of getting different technical practice by doing that. Your fingers are getting focused practice on the different challenges that are within the tune. Okay, so cool. Now we'll do the third quarter of the B part, the A part. Third quarter of the A part with flow. And broken down. So this is kind of a 1, 2, 3, 1 pattern on the scale. And if I remember, I'll put a link at the bottom of the lesson page, because I've got a bunch of lessons on melodic scale variation, and so you can practice what's going on here on a scale, and then by doing that, it helps you to learn tunes more quickly. Plus, it helps you to create, to add variation, and to improvise. So anyhow, getting back to the third quarter of the A part, so let's just pause on the original melody, be like, Santa Claus is coming to town. Now listen. hear it still, but it sounds more like a fiddle tune, a little bit more moving. Santa Claus. I can't sing the original and play it. I haven't figured that out yet. All right, so I kind of like messed around though and hit upon this. It's just was really fun. It's a bit of a departure from the original melody, but it kind of does make it sound like more of a fiddle tune. So it's D 2 3 A 2, and then D open 1 2 open, and then D 1 2 3 1, and then G high 3 open D 1 G high 3. So that 1 2 3 1 pattern is consistent throughout this section. And I'm adding Georgia Shuffle, so up 2 3 down. So if you don't know Georgia Shuffle and you're already this far in the lesson, hold off on it until you got the tune, then maybe practice it on a scale. Unless you're just feeling crazy and adventurous and you want to try it. But in general, like I just really believe in like incremental small steps so that you don't get too discouraged when you get to something that's just really too hard for you in that moment. This way you have small wins every step of the way, you know, like I got that bar, great. And that's what I want you to have, because those little wins will just keep you going, all right? This is especially helpful, I think, for beginners, but advanced players too, because you're doing harder stuff. And if you take that incrementally, you can learn anything that way. Okay, so thanks for my soapbox public service message. Let's get back to this tune. So, okay, so the fourth quarter, I'll just play it, but I don't need to go into too much detail because it's just the kickoff again. All right, so let's now do the entire A part with a play along track. 1 2 3 4. Right on. If you found that useful, you may want to check out the FiddleHed lesson page. It's free for 1 week. All lessons are free for 1 week. The content on the page includes learning chunks, which is my term for little sections that have, you know, each quarter has got play along tracks for that quarter, a little sheet music snippet, a little tab, maybe some extra notes, maybe some extra play along tracks that it breaks it down even further. The point is, each part we drill deep into so that you're sure to get it. Okay, so check that out, follow the link to that, and I hope it's helpful, and thanks for watching and for your support. Alright, so a new thing I'm doing in these lessons is to pause before we do the B part and just mention a practice thing that might be helpful to you. So in this case, I think an appropriate tip would be singing and playing, to alternate between the two and to integrate them in some way. Now, before you just hit pause on the video because you hate singing and you don't want to hear anything about singing, know that singing can also be humming, whistling, or some other alternate form of expression. Even just hearing it in your head. Now that's actually a lot harder, but that's called audiation, and it's a great practice. And in this particular tune, it's a song. So you could practice singing the song. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. And then do the song. You could even alternate between the two on a small piece, like you better watch out, you better watch out. So there I'm doing a more basic version just to kind of mirror exactly what the vocal does. And on the FiddleHed page I'll include a basic version. But it's a really fun practice. It may actually get you into singing if you're not into it. It will help you to remember the tunes. I remember Wynton Marsalis, the trumpet player, saying that he always learns the lyrics to songs because it kind of helps you not only remember lyrics, but to actually remember the melody. Some kind of connections happen in your brain. So, and it will also, it's just great. Singing is so good if you're a fiddler because it'll help you to play in tune. If you do it enough and over time, it'll compound and you'll start to hear things better. Okay, so thanks for listening to another public service announcement. Now let's get back to the tune. B part, first quarter with flow. And broken down. So let's open E, A3, A2, A3. That's the hoedown pattern. Long, actually it starts up bow. Long, if you want to do the Georgia shuffle with hoedown. Long, short, short, long, short, short. By the way, just a brief PS postscript on the singing and playing. If a tune does not have lyrics, you can also do it. You can just do like some syllable or something like na 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 na. Okay, so the second bar of the B part is kind of like the kickoff. It's low 1 to 1. So we have then A3 twice. So here's that whole thing. All right, so the whole first quarter again. All right, so, okay. And then the second quarter is the same thing. But it ends on 2 open E's. So I'll do it more slowly, the second quarter. All right, so again, the principle of if you learn the first quarter of something really well, it usually pays off. It's like an investment for further in the tune. When you get to later parts of the tune, you'll be better later. If you really learn more slowly, learn something really well before moving on. The same goes for just learning music in general. The better you learn the basics in the beginning, the more it'll pay off later. You'll learn faster actually if you have a good foundation. Alrighty, so let's see. Third quarter of the B part. Here we go. And broken down. And so I'll do it without bowings. E1, open, open, A3, A high 3, open E, A2, 2, 2, low, 2, 2, 3, and again. All right, so this is really good if you want to get some extra practice on low 2 to 2. Just do that as an exercise, and while you're at it, you can do those are both really good exercises for mapping out in your brain the difference between low 1 and 1 and low 2 and 2. All right, now we're ready to do the fourth quarter of the B part. And broken down very slowly. So again, I'm using Georgia Shuffle there. if you learn, let's just show you the left hand without bowings on A. 4, open 3, open 2, open 1, open D. These types of patterns are often called pedal patterns. And I have some lessons and some exercises on practicing them. They're really good, just technical practice. Again, it just goes to show that within these tunes, there's little exercises buried if you're just open to receiving them. And then on D, so we're gonna go open D, and then now we'll call it the pedal note will be open D, starting D4, 4, open 3, open 2, open 1. So I should look up why it's called the pedal pattern, but basically what it means is that you have one note that's you're alternating, and one note is staying the same, and then there's changing notes, but you're always, so in the first part the pedal note is A, and the next part is D. All right, so that's the whole fourth quarter of the B part, and so basically you have the whole tune now. The A part, the form that I think is typically done would be A, A, B, A. So you would do the A part twice, then the B part, and then the A part again. And then we would add the kickoff in the beginning. And then at the end, an ending that might be fun is to just do the kickoff again. So. And end with a big throwaway like, thank you, good night. Well, that's the rock version. You could also be like, you've ended the symphony, you just last note of a symphony. The crowd politely claps. So anyway, I hope this tune is fun for you. I had a lot of fun arranging it, and it's just kind of cool to take fiddle tunes, or take any melody and turn it into a fiddle tune. Right on. If you found this video and lesson to be fun and or helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the Fiddlehead channel, and ring that notification bell. Thanks for doing that. And before closing out, I just want to say if you want a little further practice with some ideas presented in this video, I'll put some links on the Fiddlehead page. Some things you might want to study up on with Fiddlehead or on your own would be the Georgia Shuffle, pedal patterns, and I have lessons and exercises on both those things. Low first finger, doing low first exercises where you go low 1, 1, and just kind of helping to map that out. Low 2 to 2, and then double stops too. So I'll put some links if you want to get further practice, go deeper with some of those techniques. And finally, I just want to say thanks so much for watching, for another great year with Fiddlehead. Having a lot of fun teaching you, starting to get to know a few of you through messages, and some of you I've talked on the phone with, done video chats with, and so it's been really sweet. Thanks. And I just want to say happy whatevermas, whatever you do or whoever you're with, may it be good. Have a good new year. We'll see you soon. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent! And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.